In this video, I'd like to talk about the differences and similarities with Renraku Waza and Renzoku Waza. So here we go.
It even gets set up deeper. See that cut? And there's that pursuit.
A Renraku Waza is a combination technique. The word Renraku means to combine something. Waza means technique. And a defining feature of Renraku Waza is that it often is you attack in one direction, your initial attack, your opponent responds somehow that you either may want him to, or he just responds in a defensive maneuver, and you throw him in another direction. So you attack in one direction and throw in another. Now, that's not always the case. You may attack in one direction and he responds in somehow, he reacts somehow, and you throw him in the same direction. That could still be a Renraku Waza. But most often you see some change in direction. So that's one defining feature. And another two defining features are that a Renraku Waza can be done as a feint or a fake. You can set him up with something. A classic example, attack with an Ouchigari. He reacts in the way you want him to, or he reacts. And you sense that he's easily thrown forward. So you follow up from that Ouchigari, your initial attack, with a Taiotoshi or a Seoinage, Uchimata, whatever, some forward throw. So you've changed direction there. So you set him up. You had a predetermined response you want him to do. You want him to elicit a response in a way you want him to do. So that's one defining feature.
What you want to do is elicit a response. So get your grip, okay, and just with your right foot, just jam it in their middle. Stop. Okay, good, and then change direction. That's it.
Another defining feature is that you've attacked him with all seriousness. You want to throw him with a specific technique, and he avoids it or he blocks it somehow. He stops the action of your initial attack. So you follow up with a second attack, or maybe even a third attack. It could be in a different direction, could be in the same direction, but so it's a bit different than faking him out. You've actually tried to throw him. He reacts in a good defensive movement, and you react to his defensive movement. So that's another defining feature of a Renraku Waza. So it's a bit different than a Renzoku Waza. We'll talk about that in a bit later. But a Renraku Waza is a combination technique. Renzoku Waza is a continuation technique. The word Renzoku means to continue something or a consecutive action of something, and Waza means technique. And it's a bit different than a Renraku Waza. Now, a Renraku Waza is a combination technique. It could be any series of different techniques put together and to make a combination. Renzoku Waza is a bit more specific, and some people may consider Renzoku Waza just a subset of Renraku Waza. That's okay. But specifically, a Renzoku Waza is an action that is a continuation of the first action. So you might try a particular technique, your opponent responds in some way, and you are throwing him attacking in the same direction or very near same direction. But it's a consecutive action that comes from the first. So they often flow together. So it's in my coaching, I teach my guys what I call double takes. You hit with the first attack, and with the idea of he'll probably block it. If he doesn't block it, fine, you throw him with the first attack. But if he doesn't block it, he hops around or he avoids it in some way, you hit in with a second, same attack again immediately. So it's a double take of the same attack twice. And that's what I call a double take, but that's a Renzoku Waza. But that's an example of Renzoku Waza. It doesn't have to be the same technique twice. It can be you attack with a Taiotoshi, he reacts, but you're still attacking forward. You still might come in a continuation or a consecutive action, hit him with a knee drop Seoinage as he moves. So it's a Renzoku Waza is a bit different from a Renraku Waza. It's a bit more specific movement action. It's generally an attack in the same direction, linking one or more techniques together that could be the same technique or could be different techniques.